I was born a great many years ago, but I can only really tell by the passing of events which I see on the telly. I remember the first time I watched everything was in black and white. Men wore suits and hats while women wore dresses. Everyone used to smoke a lot on the telly, but now not so much. Shows used to be so funny, but now they're often dark and interesting. I still like the funny shows. I always liked the chubby fellow, Benny Hill. He could make songs that were also jokes, and they reminded me of nursery rhymes. Mum never liked him though. She doesn't like men in general, let alone smiley singing ones who always chase young girls about. Mum really doesn't like a great many things. She didn't like it when I asked about Da. She didn't like when I wanted to go out in the day and play with other kids. She didn't like when I went through her books, and she didn't like when I asked bad questions like, how come I'll never grow up? 'Cause you're different, little Pete, that's what she'd say, and that's what she always called me. I guess my real name is Peter Palatreat. At least I think it is. I've never had anyone else but Mom to really ask about it. Oh, but when she got her little computer, I was ecstatic. The thing was made to answer questions, and pretty soon it was like my best friend. I could talk to people and share things. I talked to people all over the world. I liked to talk to kids the most though, because that's what I am, a kid. And I've been one for as long as I remember. The best thing I ever learned was that the world was full of different people. The worst thing I learned was that nobody was like me. I told a chap in Canada one time in a chat room that I only ate raw meat, and he was very disturbed. He said that I could get awful sick, but I typed back that I only got sick when I ate anything else. One day, I was speaking with a gentleman from nearby Brunswick, and he was very interested in everything I had to say. He said that he had some meat for me, and I was very excited. He typed a lot of strange things, and then wanted to know where I lived. I gave him the address that was on all of Mom's letters, and gave him a day to come when Mom would be out. He told me to be very clean and pretty when he showed up, so I brushed my hair and cleaned my teeth until they were nice, shiny, and sharp. I picked out my best clothes and waited for Mom to go shopping. The gentleman showed up with some candy, yuck, and a bottle of sweet wine. I brought him into the house and he seemed quite nervous. I asked him if he wanted to play Battleship. I love Battleship because it makes you smarter. But he said he had another game he wanted to play. A game where you take all your clothes off and wrestle on the floor. I didn't want to disappoint my new friend, so I obliged, but things quickly went a bit sour. He was very upset when I got my knickers off and he saw I was all different down there. He said, "Bloody hell, boy, where's your John Thomas?" He was very crude and made me quite sad. He was gathering his trousers and running for the door. One thing Mom always said was how much she hated rude people, and for the first time I saw what she meant. I tried to stop my new friend from leaving, and he shoved me away. He called me a few naughty words, which just made me more hurt inside. And finally, I just leapt up on his back and began tearing at his face with my hands. He was very surprised and had no clue just how strong I was. I put my fingers over his eyes and pressed down. I was laughing so hard when they popped like little cherries. It really was a lot of fun to wrestle. However, the fun didn't last long before he was done. I was a bit afraid of what Mom would say, so I took the rude man down into the old root cellar where Mom never went. I played down there quite a bit. I like to let the spiders and bugs crawl on my skin. It tickles. And knew it was cold enough to keep him fresh for a bit. Mom never had any idea anything had happened. I was thoroughly excited with the thought that the next time she went off, I might be able to find someone else to play with. And I did. One bloke after another showed up over the next few years. I had wondered what to do with the first one before I realized that people are made of meat too, and sure enough, they tasted just like piggy. One or two asked if this was some kind of trap set by the coppers, and I assured them it wasn't. I realized by the third or fourth gent that these fellas wanted to touch and kiss me. I thought this was odd, since I thought men were supposed to kiss women and not little boys. I only kiss and hug me mom, and didn't feel bad at all when I took them down into the earth. All good things must come to an end, my mom always says, and she was right. One day she went down into the cellar and found my little group of playmates. She was hysterical and crying, but she didn't spank me. She just went upstairs and sat down at her computer and began Googling things all night. I went in after she went to bed and pulled up her search history. I was confused because she had been to several different websites asking the same question. How do you kill a homunculus? I had no idea what a homunculus was, but I had a very bad feeling that it wasn't a good thing. She was looking at me so strangely over the next few days, so I began to get very uneasy. She was mixing things in the kitchen and messing about with a new knife she bought. I've come to the conclusion that it was probably about time for Mum to go down into the cellar with the rest of my friends. I must admit that I've grown very curious concerning this homunculus business, though, so I began looking through Mum's books while she was gone. One of her old dusty leather ones had a whole chapter saying that you can make keys from a plant called a mandrake, which I know Mum grows in the garden. I went through her kitchen, her secret kitchen, mind you, not the one for cooking, and found a bottle hidden in a cabinet. The label said, "For the homunculus." I was very happy and decided it might be fun to try it out, since I said I have no playmates. Out in the garden, I found a dozen of Mum's mandrakes and gave them all a good watering with a potion. It was a dark, rainy day, and you'll never guess what happened. The ground started getting all bubbly and loose as little hands started reaching up and grabbing through the mud. After about an hour, I was looking at a whole crowd of little pale children with dark eyes and sharp teeth, just like me. I was very happy. All of my new friends were so hungry that when Mum came home, they jumped on her all at once. I didn't have to take her into the cellar after all. However, after a little while, we decided we needed more friends to come and visit. Thankfully, I have the internet, and there are still lots of strangers who are willing to come and visit. Cheers from Peter Palatrade. The above message was posted on an online chat website called Worldly Friends. If anyone has any information as to the origin of the message, please contact Interpol at the email address or phone number below, as it was the last visited by over 30 persons in an ongoing worldwide missing persons case. Any tips leading to the subsequent findings of said persons will be eligible for a substantial monetary reward.